yourself because we have an honest-to-God, serious phenomena. Actually, I've got about 3 or 4 of them going on right now. But the shadow people came first. Did they ever come first? So we're going to get down to that in a moment. Let's take care of Biz first. Stay right where you are, then we'll set this up. Are you... I don't even remember now. It was at least a week and a half ago. I had a caller who said, Art, I see shadow people. You know, like I see dead people. I see shadow people. And that began a chain of events that's leading to the show that we're just now going to do. I think we all have experienced this. Well, maybe not all. As you know, I began the program Dreamland years and years and years ago. And I wrote the intro to Dreamland. You remember the intro to Dreamland? You remember things seen in the corner of your eye, peripheral vision? Well, I put that in there because it's one, to me, has always been one of life's great unexplained mysteries. There's things that you will see moving in your peripheral vision every now and then. It's just like, what the hell was that? It moved. And you look, and there's nothing there. Well, that's why I put that into the intro of Dreamland. And now, we got the call, what, a week and a half ago, I said, something like that. And the person said, you know, Art, not only do I see them from the corner of my eye, but I'm beginning to see what I call shadow people, clad in dark garb, with usually, you know, with some kind of a cover over their head, a shroud or something. And I'm seeing them straight on, Art. Well, that began the avalanche. I got no less than 4,500 people bothered to sit down and email me long stories of what they've been seeing. Here's just a little sample. Art, I know you've received thousands of emails regarding the shadow people, but here's another one. I've seen what I can only describe as black outlines shaped like people at night, almost always in a semi-sleeping state. They terrified me since I was 10 years old. I'm 35 now. First time I saw them, I was 10 years of age. There were 4 of them in the room. I panicked, tried to run out of my bedroom and kept flinging myself against my bedroom door, trying to push it open when it opened to the inside. This happened in the middle of the night, and my poor mother wanted to take me to a therapist when it repeatedly occurred. Once, after rearranging my bedroom furniture, I saw one and got him to run out of the room and ended up in my closet instead. Wrong door. Needless to say, this has been rather disconcerting to my mother, ex-husband, and current husband. Since I was a child of 10, my mother would come into the room because I was screaming in the middle of the night. She said my eyes were open. I appeared awake, but I was incoherent, terrified. First time I read Whitley Strieber's Transformation, I began to wonder if I was perhaps being visited by aliens. So, and it goes on and on. It's a long story. Or, dear Art, I can't help but write this email to you. The subject has plagued me my entire life, and until I heard your program last week, I had no name for my, in quotes, difficulties. During my childhood, even from birth, my parents and friends noticed that I knew things or saw people that no one else saw. At nighttime, I remember sitting in bed and holding conversations with people inside my bedroom. They'd come to me, and sometimes while sitting on my bed, they'd talk to me. Now, as an adult, I would be skeptical of this story if I didn't actually have proof from my parents who heard the conversations. My mother particularly remembers seeing me sitting straight up in bed talking to someone and listening as a man answered me. These visits came constantly, and of course, There were the positive and friendly visitors and the ones that would cause me to scream and become a horrible insomniac for 6 months at a time. I remember these people so vividly, the good, the bad. I can still see them in front of me. And it goes on and on about the encounter, and on and on. And as these go on and on, 4,500 emails, folks. Here's another one. From Susan. It was no surprise when I heard on the Art Bell Show about the shadow people. I haven't seen one face to face, but I've lately been seeing out of the corner of my eye that which quickly disappears and a very definite presence standing behind me, and when I turn around, there's nothing there. I mentioned it to a friend of mine who's from Cuba about Art Bell's program on the shadow people. And before I even had a chance to tell him about the program, he blurted out, "I forgot to tell you, I saw one of them." He then went on to describe how he'd been sitting at the computer practicing sending digital photos to his brother, who's in the same area, Anaheim, when he felt someone in the room with him. He had just sent the photo and turned around to see a being in the shape of a human, although not very tall, covered all in black except for the eyes, which he said were red and round. He said it had what appeared to be 2 arms, 2 legs, and not very tall. When he disappeared, the computer at the same simultaneously malfunctioned, he adds. And I could just go on and on. You're getting the idea, right? Art, my name is Jonathan. I'm 17 years old. I'm in Sarasota. I prefer not to give my last name. A few years ago, I started seeing shadow people. Didn't know what to make of it at first until they actually began to talk to me. I told my parents. They sent me to a doctor to see if there was something wrong with me, Art. Doctor found nothing. Since then, the encounters have gotten worse. The beings tell me things I don't understand. Sometimes I can understand a few words and actions. They seem to have human emotion. And from what I've seen, they show anger, sadness, frustration, depression. When I first started seeing them, there was one that stood out from the rest. I noticed the others don't talk to him as much, and I have no idea why. Most of them display average human size. Their speed is unreal. I've seen them race across my room so fast that I can't even see them. They don't walk. They glide like birds. They make no sound except voices. Art, I'm not crazy. I can't deal with it anymore. I can't talk to anyone about this without them thinking I'm crazy. Tonight on your show, please bring up the shadow people. Well, this was some time ago. Please read my email. Please give me some information on the subject so I can find a way to get rid of them. Thank you, Jonathan. So, there, a little sample for you. Okay, and I've got about 4,497 more I could read to you. I won't do that, of course. I tried to pursue somebody who could talk about this, who would know something about it, and I have found Thunder Strikes, and we'll see what he's all about. Thunder Strikes is a Twisted Hairs elder and a Nagwal leader within the Sweet Medicine Sundance path. His diverse background in ceremonial medicine, comparative religions, psychology, ancient mystery, school traditions, and the martial arts contributes to his remarkable skill as a contemporary shaman. Descended from the Eastern Cherokee and Irish parents, that means he's Matei, he's half and half. Thunder Strikes was guided from a very young age by his grandmother, Spotted Fawn, a Cherokee medicine woman. His early training motivated him to seek excellence in many arenas. Accomplished in the martial arts, he was inducted into the Martial Arts World Hall of Fame in 1994. Wow. As a teacher, shamanic counselor, and healer, he inspires and enriches the lives of many apprentices and students worldwide. He is author of the book titled Song of the Deer, along with Jan Orsi, one of his physicists. Here is Thunder Strikes. Thunder Strikes, welcome.
Welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you. You are Matei, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
You're half and half.
As we,
You're sort of brought along by your grandmother.
yes, my mother's mother was very, very powerful medicine woman and specialized with, and in fact, even local medical doctors, the kids would come to her when they couldn't figure out what to do with themselves. And I was about the only grandchild that really had any interest in what she was doing, and so, she'd go out and say, well, here's maggots. Her grandmother, her little surgeons, and she healed one of the wealthy men in town's son from deafness by putting them inside his ears and packing them with black walnut poultice and things that seemed very bizarre. And I thought, well, this is not so bizarre. This is grandmother Earth. This is nature. And I just kind of looked into it. And one thing led to another, and I stayed with it.
Why do you know? How do you know about? You heard me read those emails.
I did. I found them very, very intriguing. And I think I've definitely, in fact, I know I've definitely got some answers for some of these people. To do so is quite interesting. So the first thing I need to say, Mr. Bell, is that I came into this journey and in learning about knowledge from these elders that are called Twisted Hairs. And the center of that elders group are a group of very, very old and wise men and women that are called the Zero Chiefs. They spent their time studying the universe, studying the mysteries of the universe, discovered the sigma value of 9, and really unveiled the true nature of zero, the universe. They were talking about dark matter and black holes and what even before science was even invented, much less, went that direction.
No doubt using some other kind of language.
Yes, using basically what's called hostility, which means it's a root derivative going back to the Olmec, the Mayan, the Aztec, all the way up into the Cherokee. And basically, there's only 2 root languages in Native American language, and that's Anishinaabe, which say they came from the stars, and the Athabascan, which say they came from out of the lower worlds, like the Hopi and Navajo and so forth, are actually just a name, which is a true name. And I was fortunate enough to study with a man, Grandfather Tom Wilson, who's since passed over. That was the pseudo name that was used in Carlos Castaneda's books, Don Gennaro, and Gennaro. And that was my teacher, the documented his grandson. I studied with him for close to 4 years. And he was a Grand Mount Wall, which means really a shaman. And by the way, you say shaman instead of shame, because there's no shame in being a shaman. So that's the way you pronounce it instead of shaman, although I know it's the most accepted pronunciation. And grandfather, that's very good calling, was a tremendous man of wisdom and knowledge. And to be blunt about it, I had to go and get permission. So actually, we're doing something very exclusive. I've never really saw a lot of publicity. I do my medicine dance. I share with people
I know
what I know.
like
And
Keith, actually, to get to you.
yeah,
And I know you don't seek publicity.
No,
I know that's true.
For
Trying to get
I
you.
ever have, actually. So
You had to now.
I had this tradition from the Council of Elders, these Twisted Hairs, to talk about the shadow people. Because the first time that they recorded the instances of the shadow people was in 1153 BC. And this organization, by the way, goes all the way back thousands of years before Christ, and they were originally called the Rattlesnake Stew. And they formulated themselves in 1253 BC in Oaxaca, down in Yucatan. And I thought a lot this week. I thought, oh boy, great. Here's the first time I decided to really do anything public. I'm supposed to speak about something that I've been told not to talk about until the timing was right.
So I'm curious. I really am curious. When you went to the elders to try and get permission to talk about this publicly, what kind of reception did you get?
Well, interestingly enough, what I call the non-dual leaders group, which is basically the 8 elders that give me permission to teach anything that I teach, and I don't share anything in these wheels and keys and teachings that they have not given me permission to do so. And it's an ATR And in our current calendar dating, it runs somewhere from 1980 to the year 2000 was considered to be what they call the awakening. And then quickening begins January of this year and runs to 2012. The Mayan calendar ends, of course. And
You did say quickening.
yes. And the quickening is the time period in which I want to use, I'm trying to use language so I don't have to go back into my root language. If I use the terms karma and dharma, quickening, the awakening was a period from 1980 to 2000, in which the majority of the people in Brooklyn discovered the reality that they choose their lessons before they come here. They use 80% of their free will in choosing their life, writing their book of life, and they come here to learn what they've come to learn. When we finish that series of incarnations, then we switch over and we go to another stream. We go to the Dharma stream. And in the Dharma stream, that's where we have opportunity. It's not getting a lesson to learn, it's just opportunity. And it's a whole new cycle of life. So the quickening is now occurring. People are stepping into Dharma. And the prophecies say that there are 8 horses in this race. The gold horse is one that carries the vision of individual, autonomous freedom by the ability to assume authority, emotionally, to take responsibility physically and sexually, and most importantly, to stand spiritually accountable for the next 7 generations. A lesson, by the way, that I think our national and national leaders could well use, starting with Clinton first. But we don't have too many leaders today that are giving us any kind of an example of real benevolent wisdom and leadership. And
No, we don't.
I mean, I think so too, that it's just heartbreaking. What are the petty road steps? What are the people that can really lead from the
Well,
front?
see, the problem is that they didn't get to where they are by being benevolent.
Exactly.
They got to where they are by stepping over bodies.
Mm-hmm. And that's part of what we call the dog sports prophecy. And part of that dog sports prophecy is in the quickening that we stand on the razor's edge. And then I put it in the exact words that in the land of the eagle, which is considered to be the Americas,
The land of the ego, did you say? Eagle. Oh,
Yeah.
eagle. Yes, we're the eagle, right. And the ego.
in the land of the eagle, in the land of the lizards, which is basically South America, that there would come a time when the title lead of the land of the eagle would hang by a silver thread, the Constitution, and that there would be an election that would split the beast asunder, and they would go in 2 separate directions.
Okay, listen.
Hold
Hold it. We are at the bottom of the hour, so just relax for a moment. You and I are going to talk about telephones for a second during the break, and we'll be right back. My goodness, he has a Ross Mitchell kind of bass in his voice, doesn't he? Pretty bassy stuff, pretty interesting stuff, and we're about to get there. We're going to talk about the shadow people, why we're suddenly beginning to see them in such numbers, or have we simply stumbled into something that always has been, or is it all beginning to quicken? I suspect the latter. I'm Art Bell. Well, good evening, everybody. Thunder Strikes is my guest. The subject is what we call the shadow people. He actually had to go get permission from the elders before he could talk to us about this, which is pretty interesting. And I guess we've got to understand where we are in prophecy to understand why we're seeing the shadow people now. That's conjecture on my part. I have no idea. We're about to find out. You know I can't resist, right? That is so appropriate for reintroducing Thunder Strikes. It's so appropriate. Welcome back. Thunder Strikes?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. You have got one deep voice, don't you?
Yeah, that's a product of about 20 years in the Marine Corps.
The Marines do that to you, huh?
Yeah, especially when you become a gunnery sergeant and a drill instructor and those kind of things, and you're putting your voice out at I guess you know to do that on the ground, it definitely takes your voice.
And I suspect a lot of it's natural. All right, what you're telling us right now, I presume, is it Cherokee prophecy?
didn't work. It didn't give us enough answers. It didn't give us enough connection to the mysteries and to the things that we wanted to know in the realms of knowledge. We would go and travel. We would go travel with different tribes. We traveled to talk to different people. And in doing so, we began to realize that, look, there was a lot more than one way to skin a cat here. There was a connecting link to the universe here that different people chose to approach in different ways. And so consequently, we would start looking for truth. We'd look for truth that works. And these gentlemen, these women, gradually started to meet each other, and they formed into what was called the Rattlesnake School. And interesting enough, they say the roots go all the way back to a planet called Osirian Canuia in the Canis Major constellation, and the dark star Sirius was their grandfather's son. And then they came here approximately 172,000 years ago, bringing with them an ark of the crystal skull. And thus was the sum total of knowledge of the 11 planets with human life in our solar system. Our galaxy, we don't even have the right words for it, our universe. And with them, about 22,000 years ago, Mr. Bell, they wrote a prophecy called the Rainbow Bridge Prophecy. And it speaks of 8 horses in a race. The horse symbolizing the carrying or the transportation of the philosophies and the belief systems and the core beliefs of the people. And these horses were running, and they're running towards the date at which all the Native American Turtle Island people shut off their calendar, which is 2012.
That's the Mayan calendar.
Yes, sir.
And the Mayan calendar.
Absolutely. And there's a reason why they shut it off on August 17th, 2012.
Why? What is
Because they see that we are developing the full human beings, humanity, humans in unity, and we will be teaching one another, sharing with one another, caring with one another, healing one another, loving one another, with individual autonomous freedom. But our number one enemy is ignorance, superstition, slavery, dogma, the dark side.
the modern day is what you're talking about. And you say that this quickening, interesting choice of terms, selection of terms, began, did you say 2000?
Actually, 2001.
2001.
It actually started on midnight of 2001. When I was
I think that sounds just about right, actually. As I look at events that have occurred, it seems just exactly right. That we took a little bit of a quantum leap at that point, and events have been certainly quickening.
And
Well,
I think that from 1980 to 2000, when we were in the awakening, you take this chronic stress fatigue syndrome malady that's going around. That was almost non-existent until approximately 83, 84, somewhere in there, when they first started diagnosing different cases. And that's right in the first 4 years of the awakening. And the awakening was moving over from one cycle, one pattern, one kind of life experience called karma, for lack of a better term. We call it Shilimara. But let's just say karma, because that's kind of a universal word. And stepped over into God, or what we call Shilimara. And when we did that, the speed of light, the actual circle of light, which is our people say we go around the wheel of life once every, twice every 3 years. Well, in Dharma, we go around that same life experience 13 times every 3 years. And I was saying the speed, the pace, the timing. I mean, there's not a person I talk to that doesn't talk about how it just seems like time is moving so much faster. And that is indeed true. Human metabolism is speeding up. And that's why we're seeing more and more prevalence of the shadow people.
you mean the faster our metabolism becomes, the faster we're moving in some sort of spiritual stance, the more we're going to see of them? Is that true?
Absolutely. Because in essence, if you take, every time we have a negative thought, every time we have a guilt, blame, shame, fear, anger, resentment, jealousy, envy, greed, insecurity, resentment, we're projecting that energetic out of our luminosity, out of our soul being, our spirit, if you want to call it that, and into the ethers, into the universe.
So then you're basically, I think, saying that our negative emotions are be, though, that there's some force that's already in existence that we're completing with these negative emotions, but that there's some form there prior to our, what's the right word, completing its existence?
I would say that what we're doing is we're assembling them into our world of perceptual reality because they exist in a parallel dimension. Within the 7 streams of reality, the 7 streams or 7 dimensions of reality, there are actually 72 parallel dimensions to either side that the 312s discovered. And these include your 5th dimension when you're dreaming at night. And every night when you dream, you demonstrate what our people call the LAREN, the energy sensitive perceptions of awareness. You go to heightened awareness.
Yeah, okay, so you may be at your most sensitive when you're asleep, most subject to perhaps being able to see these beings.
Correct.
Are they beings, by the way? Is that
We call them inorganic beings. The definition given in 1153 BC. 5 makes zero chief that really started noticing the phenomenon in the young.
inorganic
Beings, and that they appear because they feed in a vampire. They feed off of our emotional chaos, our emotional discharge of energy.
So then you will excuse me if I get a little crude for you. I'm not as eloquent as you, but basically, if you were to see a shadow person a little more than in peripheral vision, it would scare the out of you, right? And you're suggesting it would feed on that fright.
Yes, it will. And see, if you know anything about animals, then I'm not Dr. Doolittle, but I think he's largely communicated with animals over my life, because we call the animals sleep medicine. And because they have a natural harmony and a natural balance and alignment, and you don't see a dog going to a psychotherapist to learn why it's not a cat. I mean, a dog's a dog and a cat's a cat. Well, we are animals. We're 2-legged animals.
Sure.
But we have the potentiality to actually become a human being. And that's what we're in now. We're trying to learn to become human beings.
Are these inorganic beings sentient? In other words, are they conscious in the
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
You gotta realize that almost every form of everything inside what we call the sacred laws of creation, or the evolutionary laws, that all forms of all things are potentially transformable into all forms of all other things. And energy, once created, cannot be destroyed. It can simply be altered, and in the essence of its energy expression is energy form. So these inorganic beings are parallel dimensional beings, is the best way to refer to them, that are pulled into our dimension, especially through the dream time, and engage and interact with us. The reason they occur out of peripheral vision is because we need to see them up with our other eyes. We have 10 eyes, we have 5 ears. We're much more complex than medical science recognizes. We've even got a third genetic file just now playing with called the ETA, Evolutionary Transformational Agent. We're a luminous being, and we have a tremendous capability of perception. The entire class and the things I study with.
Okay, slow up again. I need to understand this. So, I believe that you are saying that we're not really seeing these beings with our eyes. We're not seeing them...
Not with your normal awareness eye.
Right. That we're seeing them with a, for lack of a better phrase, a psychic eye, or an eye that is now, because the metabolism is moving faster, it's the mind seeing it. I haven't quite put this together yet.
I can make it simple. Is it all right if I call you Art? I don't ever transcend on somebody. I stay in proper respect and gender and say Mr. Bell.
Well, for the purposes of doing this tonight, can I call you Thunder?
Yes. Either that or just Gunny, because that's what I went by for so many years. Either one works.
Well, I guess I could call you Strikes, but that doesn't sound right.
Right.
Thunder.
And everybody calls me Thunder or Gunny. Those that really know me closely and in with
Gunny.
Yeah. If I said to you that you not only have your left and your right eye, your normal awareness eye, but everyone's very aware of the third eye, which is in the forehead. But when you're sleeping, dreaming at night, or do you not have our universal line, which is in our table for wood.
Really?
And we have 10 eyes, and we have 5 ears. We have an internal ear that hears when we're in the dream time. By the way, dream time is 144 to 1 to our time, third dimensional time. You put a person in dream research, like at Duke University. You measure a dream, their rapid eye movement. You know the dream. We record it on all the machines. We wake them up, and they tell us events of 2 weeks of time transition in the dream state.
Thunder, I've got emails from, for example, where not just one person, but as many as 3 or more saw the same shadow person doing the same
Actions.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely correct.
Really?
Because see, I'm sure you're aware you've had Rupert Sheldrake on, and he's referred to me in some of his books. Rupert knows the morphogenetic field theory, and I think it's one of the most brilliant theories.
Were the shadow people, Thunder, ever alive? Were they living human beings? That's
Not in our world, in this third dimension as we know it. They've always been present in our dream time, in fifth dimension. They've always been present in the 3 parallel dimensions to the right and to the left of our awareness.
You seem to be suggesting that they are vampires. They're
Anyway, I
emotional.
would say they are energy, and we call energy Orendi. Cover all forms of energy. They are Orendi vampires.
Oh, so there's nothing particularly positive from our point of view about their presence. Is that right?
I don't like to use positive and negative, but I will use good and evil.
Oh, well, if they're feeding on the negative emotions, whatever negative emotion might be present, that suggests to the average person that if they're seeing them, probably that's not such a good thing because there must be a lot of negative emotions flying about, right?
That's correct, but now let's take it another line of premise. That if I'm getting rid of and giving away my negativity, and it can be absorbed very much like a maggot, which is kind of revolting and repulsive to some people. You realize that you can put a maggot inside someone's ear that's got a huge abscess. It will lead away all the rotten flesh, not touch the actual living body tissue of the organ. You take them out, and they're going under little surgeons. So are they dark? Yes, because they feed off of that energy. Are they necessarily a part of evil? It takes a wide stretch of the imagination and a tremendous amount of fear to see them that way. You can learn.
I can muster up that much fear, no problem. I mean, when you see a dark being and you can't account for its presence, it's not that hard to be that afraid. I mean, a lot of the people that have written me emails on this subject,
They're terrified.
well, look, some of them have been in tears, writing in tears, because they've seen these beings all their life. Nobody ever said a word about them. All of a sudden on my program, here we are talking about them. They were literally in tears because they've been holding on to this
And thinking they're crazy.
all their life. Well, yeah, I guess, maybe thinking they're crazy, scared to talk to anybody else about it, scared to even admit it to their loved ones.
Well, let's deal with one thing, the fear. Fear is nothing more but the unknown. And it never will be anything but the unknown. It always has been the unknown. And there's only one solution to the problem of the unknown. Make it known as quickly as possible. So,
With that,
fear is the natural state of the human. Because of the molding, the stuffing, the armoring of the image makers and the people that are significant, reflection stuff. And we develop fears that are frequently totally ungrounded. And these inorganic beings, these shadow entities, are beings, which we call shadow people because it's the closest thing in our normal awareness that we can identify with.
sure.
Their truth is they're a little more like small human, sort of bat-like figures. The description of a cloak that they see, or the shroud. One person was very toothy, and they definitely have red eyes.
Why don't you make, red eyes, great. Why don't you make the leap to evil? I mean, if they're food and the engine that makes them more visible is our own fear and negative emotions, then why not make the leap to evil? You wouldn't think they'd be up to any good collecting all those things.
Well, and anyone that's dealt with them, have they hurt them? Have they attacked them in any way? You'll find out that they have caused themselves to hurt themselves. I mean, it's like a buddy I had in Vietnam that was going off into the bushes to, do his number, and a tiger came up on him. That would definitely shift your perception view of reality.
That should have popped the whole Shadow family right into the jungle, right then and there.
And so, yes, but if you really look at it, they can be evil if you project the evil part.
All right.
Take these kids going off in school.
All right, Thunder, hold on, fool. I want to get to that. Thunder, hold on. Because I want to say something before we run into the break at the top of the hour. I hope Keith Rowland is listening. Sorry about this, Keith. But somebody has sent me a fast blast that makes sense. Say Art from Glenn in Washington. How's about asking for some drawings of shadow people from the listeners who have seen them? That should be interesting. Gosh, Glenn, I agree. Anybody out there willing to draw a shadow person for us? And then scan it and send it to Keith Rowland? What a really good idea. How would you do that? Well, you draw it, do it quickly here, and then you email it to webmaster@artbell.com. I repeat, webmaster@artbell.com. Wouldn't it be nice to have some visuals of what it is that we're trying to talk about? This is not so easy, this discussion. It's real, though. Thunder Strikes is my guess, and I would really enjoy that. Duh, why haven't we done it before? Let's see what these creatures look like. Moreover, let's see if they're perceived the same way by a large number of people. How can we do that? Well, by having you help us out by drawing what you saw or have seen and sending it to webmaster@artbell.com. Totally interesting experiment. Why didn't I think of it? If we would just have some of you out there who have actually full-on seen these shadow people sit down and do a drawing for us of what you saw to the best of your ability, scan it, and send it to my webmaster. That's webmaster@artbell.com. That's how you send it. JPEGs are preferred, JPG files. We could then compare what people have seen. Isn't that a good idea? Get an idea of what people have seen. So those of you that have seen them full on, draw it, scan it, send it tonight within the hour, let's say, to webmaster@artbell.com. And we will have an interesting experiment, won't we? Thunder Strikes is my guest. We're talking about shadow people. Stay right there. Back now to Thunder Strikes. And Thunder, pretty familiar name, I would say, for two who have just met, but we'll go with it. The maggot analogy that you made a little while ago would seem to imply, and here's where I want to ask, I think, an important question. Are these inorganic beings that we're discussing tonight, in a sense, doing us a favor by absorbing our negative emotions and feelings? Is that a positive thing for us, or is it simply a positive thing for them and really overall negative for us?
I think the best way to answer that, Art, would be that it's really a positive thing for them without a question, beyond a question of a doubt. Just like any parasite that feeds off another animal. But if you look at, for example, any parasitic relationship. The host actually experiences some gain, but it's not enough to make up for the fact that the parasite will eventually take their entire energy. And that's what we're dealing with in this cricketing. As our metabolism speeds up, they become more present in our assembling of our world of a reality, from how we're choosing to perceive our reality. And as we kick in these other eyes, if you were to imagine a luminous egg, you've got an elliptical surface, do you know?
Yes.
Due to the refraction of light coming from both inside you and what's called your assemblage point, outside your luminosity, you'll pick it up through the third eye, or the fifth eye, which are both very, very tuned in and very sensitive to spiritual essence of presence, energies and entities and vibrations and spirits, both incarnate and disincarnate, that we normally do not see in what's called normal awareness. Therefore, the more we are in our dark side, the more we're dancing with the dark horse of evil, the more you're going to feed until they become strong enough to start appearing in our actual third-dimensional world with straight on vision,
Straight on vision. That's what we'll say. Now, I want to read you something. This just came in by fax it's from Michael Harns. Let's see. Parsons Island, Michigan, is it? Parsons Island, I guess, Michigan. I'd always thought, Art, I could see something moving past my peripheral vision at my parents' home. I thought it was lights from the road some 600 feet behind the home. At times I thought I was seeing a misty gray image of an elderly woman, but then one night, my lad, his dog, was laying at my side and began a slow, guttural growl. Rising and moving toward the windows, I thought he was looking at himself, as a reflection. His growl became louder and stronger as he would lunge forward and draw back. This went on for about 3 minutes as I tried to stop him lunging forward. He got very loud and then made a final lunge and stopped instantly. After stopping, he then went up to the couch that was to the left of the window and with a very cautious step smelled the seat cushion. This blew me away and gave me justification for the things I thought I saw time after time. I've never felt the feeling again. My dog also ceased that behavior. I've always had a dog. He was a stray I'd taken in. Most of my visions were pre-pet. So, my question, Thunder, is, are these things that cats, dogs, other animals have been seeing for a long
They
time?
have always been aware of their presence. And anyone that has a cat, they don't like cats. And so generally, if the cat will spot them, they don't want to be spotted. And consequently, the minute the cat tunes in, and if you've seen your cat walk across, and all of a sudden it's very obvious he's going on his little route, going how nonchalant cats can be.
Oh, yes.
And they stop, and all of a sudden they very deliberately turn their head. You can bet your booty they're focusing on an inorganic being.
Well, I do bet on that because I just had a big incident with one of my cats. I have 3. And the veterinarian that was top-notch veterinarian that we took this cat to, she said, cats have a very fast metabolism. Totally fast. Cats have, in fact, their system is so different from other mammals on the earth that it's almost like magic. These are the best words. It's magical. And she said it's not so easy to treat them, and you just never know what's going to happen. They're really in a class all by themselves.
And one of our teachings is that we're evolving to the human stage where our metabolism will start to speed up to the point of what you could almost call formlessness. If I said that Jesus' resurrection was really his virgin birth, and that was the moment that he turned formless, came back in appearance this time that Peter would recognize and say, touch me as you knew me, I am as you knew me. But virgin birth, that's resurrection, that's formless. The ability to assemble into your luminous egg cocoon the physical body that would normally appear through the birth cycle in your next incarnation. We have that kind of power. And I just
people until what? And one day they simply we're all part of one reality.
Yes, and we're going to be seeing other entities, much as UFOs, the little gray people, and the lizard people, and so forth. They come from a dimensional planet that, if you want to look at it as Great Spirit's grand design, was the experimental phase. I mean, you know, our people don't approach the symbolism of a god. We approach it as the everything, the universe, the sacred creation, the Great Spirit.
Well, if the shadow people feed off negative energy,
Yes.
why are so many children that you wouldn't think would have that much negative energy?
Well, when
Seeing
What about a child that's 8 years old that kills experience with a bunch of men? What about these kids going off in school and cheating each other? We have a lot of evil in the world,
that's
and even in the young.
yeah. That's
If the only way they can step into Dharma is to come in and express that in one final blasphemous, riot down the runway of life, then they're going to. And of course, that just draws this energy into a stronger and stronger morphogenetic field. And of course, that's why we look at the double doors and see the dark forces start freaking out how to deal with our own dark side, our own shit. Well, even Jung referred to it as the shadow. And start approaching it from the place of understanding we can get rid of our dark side by the way in which we live our lives in relationship to other human beings. And that's what we're here for. This is a laboratory. This is university. And I think we're here to grow and learn. And we're here to learn how to live together. And I'm not talking about integration. I'm talking about basically being able to live together and together. So then what we are proud of the differences. But the differences don't produce war.
Richard in Berkeley, California, saying your guest is describing the published works of Carlos Castaneda. Everything from the term inorganic being to the luminous ball of light.
That is correct. I also studied with Don Juan, who was another real good friend of Don Gennaro's, and that's not neither one of them's real name.
And you studied with
Don Wilson, which is his real name, and Jack Shockley was the real name for Don Juan. And I can prove it.
How should we accept the presence of these shadow people? If not fear, then how should we react to them? If we begin seeing them, what does it mean for us personally, and how should we react?
I think the first thing is that you should become aware. Awareness is the key to knowledge and enlightenment. And so first you need to become aware of everything that's in your environment. You need to realize there's a lot more there than you normally perceive. Once you do, you'll move your own dark side. Where are you going into negativity? Life is a choice. It's always been a choice. It'll always be a choice. The one thing that the human being can change in the world by himself is his attitude and his approach.
Amen.
Your attitude is your concept, your mindset to reality. You can change it.
First time callers, area code 775-727-1222.
Negativity.
Well, let's rephrase that, and let's just say not to be such a butthead. Okay?
I apologize for that.
No, that's all right. Listen, there are plenty of people who fit squarely or roundly, if you will, into that category. Believe me.
Yeah.
But I just thought I'd save the children or something. I don't know. I don't even know why. It's late at night. They can handle the language.
Right.
And see, here's what I'm worried. Here's what I'm worried about. Thunder. When I look around me and I look at what's going on, we're speeding up all right. But the signs that I see around me are not that we're speeding in a positive direction.
I agree.
We're speeding straight to hell.
Yes.
That may be a little dramatic, but the environment around us is collapsing. Social civilization appears to be collapsing, as you just demonstrated with what a lot of children are doing now.
Right. Moral and ethical
all collapsing, all going in the wrong direction. The sun right now is really beginning to worry me a little bit. It's spitting at us like I've never seen it spit before. And by the way, scientists prices. Never seen it spit this way before either.
That's almost what, a 68% increase in the solar flares in the last 3 years?
We're in a normal high, but we just had an event that, and by the way, Telstar 4 folks may have lost some transponders yesterday, or they may have gone to a backup satellite, and in fact the Dish Network lost some of their transponders. Because of solar stuff, I don't know. They won't say. I suspect. We just had another major X-flare, big mother of an X-flare. These things are coming at us one end. Anyway,
They're speeding up.
all taken together, we're speeding all right, but I'm not so sure I like where we're going.
I would totally agree with that.
Look at the weather. Look at the weather.
And see, that's part of the red horse. The red horse is about weather. The white horse is about technology. The gold horse is about human-to-human interaction. And the gold horse is about spiritual, self-growth and development. And, we have to deal with all of those. And all of them are going faster and faster in the race. And right now, the dark horse is way off in front.
Well, what happens?
It's about breathing.
What happens, Thunder, if the dark horse wins the race?
The end point of the dark horse constantly is Civil War II in the Americas and World War III. When the land of the bear, which is considered to be Russia, the land of the weasel, which is the Middle East, and the land of the dragon, which is China, combined together as one allied unit against the land of the eagle and bring it down and rip its feathers from its existence.
That would be us, the eagle.
Yes, it would be. And look at what we're currently dealing with China. They're sitting in our back door in the Panama Canal. They have major control of 6 major harbors in the United States. When are we going to wake up? Our military's been downsized to the point where we couldn't even hold a strong DEFCON 2. If you're familiar with the DEFCON statuses, that means we could not launch what we had at the beginning of Pearl Harbor. We were pretty weak then.
Well, you were in the service of what, career?
I started out that way, and then I got blown out of a helicopter in Tennessee, and that sort of ended that.
Well, I was actually at Amarillo Air Force Base, and I picked up the red phone. We were SAC base, and I picked up the red phone during the Cuban crisis and heard them announcing the rise in the DEFCON level.
Right.
I remember that.
I don't remember it vividly.
That was a hair-raising time, believe me.
So that's real fear.
Hair-raising. Yep, that's real fear, all right. And so the gray people, or the dark shadow people, must have been running around gathering strength like crazy. And every time, I suppose, a major event in time occurs, the assassination of the President of the United States, oh my God, the outpouring of grief and fear and anger and negative emotions must just really pump these little inorganic things up.
It's like they run amok, very much like a cockroach or a rat will.
So the more we run amok, the more we feed them.
Correct. And that's why I had to get permission to speak about this. We're reaching the point of the quickening, and the quickening includes the quickening of both good and evil. Now it becomes a real full-out race. You watch the horse race, jockey always gives them the spurs and the whip and the quirt, and they move them right to the finish line that last, quarter length. And that's what we're doing. We're in the last decade, the last 10 years, which is called the quickening. So it's that race to that final point. And that was so completely in the arena of free choice, free will, that they didn't bother to extend the calendar past that point, because they said either we will become human beings gathered together in circles of unity, or we will create a civil war in the Americas and World War III, and who knows where we'll go from there.
Maybe nowhere.
Precisely. And see, that's why I get so
All right, when you went to the elders to seek permission to talk about this tonight, what was in the Supreme Court, it would be the dissenting opinion. What was the dissenting side? Why did they feel perhaps the public shouldn't be told this?
The 2 dissenting votes out of the 8 were both saying that normally this would have been brought to the forefront in 2004. That the election at that time is a critical turning point as to whether we go really to the dark or to the light horse. And that putting this out ahead of time, it could be a detrimental effect for those people who live in the a man with a .357 Magnum, or better yet, a .45 Colt, that's force. And force controls violence.
Yes.
And passivity breeds it. So the passivity that can be launched by people's helplessness or frustration to deal with these things could be out of timing. But since it's such a forefront issue, they said, okay, go for it. It would not be present if the collective weren't demanding it. And so the vote was 6-3.
So the hope is that by telling people what these inorganic beings are, that they will begin to modify their own behavior, slowing
Gain some emotional balance and control. Stop projecting their pretense out to life and onto others. Now, let's wake up and assume authority and take responsibility and be accountable for your life as a choice.
Boy, that sure is easy to say and
difficult to do. I've spent my whole life trying to learn it, and I'm still getting not too bad at it, but some days better than other days.
that's for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, hold it right there. I'd like to go to the phones because I know a lot of you have questions about these shadow people. Now, I think we just got quite a few answers, but I know you've got questions, and I hope that those of you with the capability are making the drawings, scanning them, and sending them to webmaster@artbell.com, so we can all have at least some form of visual of what you've seen straight on. In the meantime, we're about to open up the phone lines. Don't touch that dial. Sundance half. He is, let's say, he's half Eastern Cherokee and half Irish. And he knows about shadow people. And he's been telling us about shadow people. And I hope soon we'll get the first images on the website of what some people have seen and called the shadow people. And we've also got a lot of phone calls. So in just a moment, we're going to go to the phones with Thunder Strikes. Stay right there. Back down to Thunder Strikes. And just before we go to the line, I've got a question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay?
Should I understand these beings to be, as we, many of us believe we have been, the creations of God, separate creations? Should I imagine them to be here since the creation, since man has walked the earth? Have they always been here?
No, sir, they have not. And in fact, that's why they were first brought into awareness. If you look at what was going on in approximately the 1100s BC here in the Americas, and that's when we first began to see. Up to that point, there was very little tribal warfare. Very little. In fact,
So you're saying before that there were no shadow people?
but there were no entities created out of our own energy field that began to take on their own consciousness or perceptual consciousness of reality.
All
So
right.
now they're consciously present. We created evil ourselves, interestingly.
We created evil ourselves. So they are a creation, but not of...
Not of God, not of the Great Spirit. We are determiners of energy.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
The mineral world, the holy world, the plant world gives, the animal world receives, and we're the determiners.
Do you, Thunder, happen to have a computer in the house?
Yes, I do.
So, in about 2 minutes, I'm informed by my webmaster that the first 3 or 4 drawings, rather, that have been scanned that he considers interesting are going to be up there. Are you able to do that, or are you on the line that your computer would use to get on the internet?
No, I can probably go into my computer, yes.
Okay, for the rest of you, as a matter of fact, very soon now, we're going to have it up on the website, and it's going to, what you do is you go to program, tonight's guest, scroll down to Thunder Strikes, and when Keith gets the drawings up there, in the next few minutes, you will all be able to look together and see what they are. So you might have, if anybody's assisting you there, Thunder, you might have them get on my website and get ready. That's how you get there.
Go to your website, you go to Thunderstrike section.
Well, actually, to tonight's to program, and then tonight's guest, info. That would be you, and then you'd see the name Thunder Strikes, and then when my webmaster gets them up there, in the next 10 minutes at least, we'll all be able to look together. I'd be very curious what it is people have been seeing. In the meantime, I'd like to go to the phones, and I'm going to think about the fact that they're our creation. First time on the line, you're on the air with Thunder Strikes. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
This is Sarah from Modesto, California.
Welcome.
Hello. I'm a fairly new caller. I commend you on the great job you're doing. I really love your show.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, I have a question because I have quite a few things that do happen to me, but this is like only the second time I've heard about this. I'm really curious as to whether this could be shadow people or ghosts that I'm experiencing, because I always just figured it was ghosts.
It might be hard to discern, yes. So
Yeah.
what do you see?
Well, I haven't ever actually saw a person, but I do see outlines. I see a lot of movement, especially once it gets late at night and I'm on the computer. I see flashes of light by the corners of my eyes and shadows by the corners of my eyes.
That are moving?
Yes, definitely moving. And sometimes I'll think I see an outline, I'll turn it in fades. So I've never seen.
Well, that's as classic as it gets. What do you think, Thunder?
I think what you see is that they're both incarnate and disincarnate spirits, which you might call ghosts, and then you're dealing with poltergeists, which are basically a phenomenon of an interesting phenomenon of the projection of adolescents just coming into the age of puberty. And I think what she's seeing is, let me ask you this, Melody, what's the name?
No, Sarah.
Oh, what was your name?
Sarah?
Sarah. So when you saw their appearance, did you see them to the right side or to the left side?
Oh,
Not
jeez.
friendly, and can you give a basic description of the thing you were doing at the time? What was the event that you were experiencing at the moment?
Oh, geez, I'm trying to think of. I think I see them from both sides. I honestly haven't ever really paid attention to that, but and a lot of times it just happens late at night when I'm sitting at the computer. I notice a lot when I'm sitting at the computer, and usually only at night, and a lot of times lately, just the past few nights actually, laying in bed, like I'll see little flashes out of the corner of my eye, and I look and nothing's there.
Those sound like the shadow beings or the shadow.
Oh no, I really want to hear that.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
24.
And, if I could just ask a few other quick questions or occurrences. I mean, I've also, I don't know if this sounds strange at all, but I have felt breathing in my face before. It's been a couple years since this has happened.
Breathing in your face?
Yes. I have laid in bed and actually felt breathing in my face. It's only happened like 2 or 3 times, and it's been a couple years since it happened. And,
Okay, those are not shadow beings.
that's not a shadow being.
What those are is that you can realize that ancestor spirit beings, loved ones that have crossed over to the other side, frequently come back, and because they assembled us into their world, and then they have left our world, but we still have them assembled there. It's our heart space, it's our connection to them.
Oh, wow.
And so we can feel that breath of life, which is why it's so critical when a newborn takes their first breath of life. That's when their luminosity lights up, shall we say. And so that's what you're experiencing there. It's the inorganic beings or the shadow people. They definitely are attracted to electromagnetic energies.
So in other words, when you're near a computer.
Computers, television sets.
Yeah, well, sure. They're electromagnetic. It's all electromagnetic. We've got to leave. I'm sorry. We have now the first 4 drawings submitted by people who claim to have seen shadow people straight on there up on my screen right now. Oh my. Oh my. Now, these are people's drawings, of course, but wow. So, if I might ask,
I've got them here, Art.
shadow people. Oh, you've got them.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are the first one.
Yes.
That's not a shadow being. I've done many exorcisms and many banishings of these critters.
This thing doesn't look good at all.
No, it doesn't. And it's definitely malevolent, and it can be taken away with a good shamanic cleansing. It is absolutely terrified of sage, cedar, sweetgrass, lavender. The smell of those four herbs mixed together equal proportion drives it batty. It'll leave. The other thing keeps it away is crystals. The frequency of crystals makes it very disruptive. This is a being that you need to drive out of your reality.
I'm with that. All right, the next one.
See, I'm scrolling down to the next one, and the next one is much more typical of those energies and entities that are there due to government influence, and I really don't know if we want to go there.
All right.
The Men in Black.
Black. And the third one?
And the third one is Dead on Reality.
Dead on Reality. Well, there it is.
Right on in the last one where they're more amorphous.
Yes.
That's showing them in their developmental stage, the cocoon stage. That would be like
No kidding. So notice that then the one on the bottom would be the cocoon stage. The one just above it would be evolved from.
And that's what they look like. And they're extremely quick. What I like about if I can say his name, Kenny, that put it on there, boy, you did that well. It's
Kenny Young.
That's just about as close as I've seen anybody draw it.
All right. Kenny Young says, I have attached a picture. I quickly drew the shadow person I've seen. The shadow person had longer arms and legs than a normal person, was about 4 feet in height,
4 to 5 feet max.
Was hard to get an exact size of the shadow person because I ran across the street really fast. Don't believe you.
I mean, quick.
Yeah.
See, that's why as our metabolism increases, our heightened awareness brings them into the normal awareness screen of perception, where we're moving like the speed of sound. We're operating in a parallel dimension, and in the dimension which we can access the heightened awareness, and they're moving, say, maybe Mach 4. It's going above the speed of sound. So they're going to appear extremely fast to us. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes all the sense in the world. Yes, of course. All right. Wildcard line, you're on the air with Thunder Strikes. Hello.
Hi, Art. This is Karen from Iowa.
Hello, Karen.
And about 2 weeks ago, I had a dream that I was flying around and a guy was chasing me with a camera. That was a night dream. And I've also had visions that I'm standing there watching some people and they see me. But other than that, when I was a child, I used to speak to some being. I have not seen shadow people. But yet I've seen golden light beings that fly around me.
Those are what we call the Tunashana, which literally means the ancestor spirit beings of benevolence, the guidance.
Okay.
What did you
Because
call
they were absolutely correct in everything they ever told me.
All right, what did you call them again, please? No, hold on a minute.
We call them Tunashana. That's the Indian word for all my relations, the spiritual beings.
So I guess they're the good ones.
Yeah.
But
One thing I would like to say to your sister is, just because you're dead doesn't make you smart. So they're there, but just because you're in that other world before they come in back into the next incarnation, sometimes they can give you good advice, just like your parents can, and sometimes they're just dead wrong.
oh no, they warned me of the fire. They told me what I would be at every age that I asked them. They became my best friends after my father's death. In fact, they warned me of that too.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much, and take care. East of the Rockies, you're on there with Shadow Strikes. Hello. Hello. Thunder Strikes. Thunder Strikes. I've got Shadow on my mind, my God. Yeah, good morning, sir. Where are you?
Down Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
Wow.
Yes. And I've seen him 5 times since 1981.
Yeah.
All straight on.
All straight up.
Yes. And the common denominator of them is, to me, they're 2D. They don't have a third dimension.
You're correct.
And
They're in the parallel dimension, brother. What it is that that's why they take on this flat, basically like opaque background, and so no light comes through them. And so they are not
Yeah, they're blacker than black.
no reality.
Black. Yeah, you said blacker than black.
yeah, can I briefly just describe them? I've got it written down.
Yes, you may.
I was just doing a little hike in the woods, and there's all kind of broken branches and stuff like that. And I'm walking along, and the branches are breaking when I walk. But I had a sensation of somebody being near me, and I looked to my right, and about 30 feet away, there was this thing, and every time I moved, it kind of aggressively moved too. And
You stopped, did it stop?
yes,
Okay, that's we also refer to as the shadow stalker. In the forest, and if you were around a lot of trees,
yes,
there are detector spirits that detect the elementals. And those are not harmful. They're very similar to these beings. But if you move, they move. If you stop, they stop. If you turn around, they turn around.
yeah,
They're monitors, they're ministers.
Every single time, huh?
yeah. And but the only thing I noticed in particular, I thought I was going to get robbed or something at first, but when it moved, it didn't make the branches crack.
That's correct, because it's one with the forest.
Okay, and then the second one, car, and it had an angular form. That was in 1992. It was somewhat human form, but it was like angular.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, at the beginning of the show, I think, Art, that frequently they take on this triangular type of shape.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I missed that.
That I don't want to use this image because I don't want to lead anybody to. People are so easily led in the mind. But, like you see Count Dracula and his coach, or the vampire type thing. And since we've used that word, maybe unfortunately parasitic would probably be better than vampiristic, but they have a sort of a. You look at the one that's on the screen on the computer. That's much more accurate. But where you see the sound movement, and because the extended length of the arms and the length and the shortness of the mid-torso, if you catch it as them going away from you, if you understand anything with geometry, it's going to create a triangular, sort of a triangle over a parallelogram.
Yeah, I was an aerospace engineer. That's why I was so fascinated about that second one. The third one was, it was almost a tentacle thing that went through the trees.
Did it make any sound like a whirring sound?
No.
Did you notice that?
And they don't seem to have any mass. It's like it just went through the
That
trees.
sounds like the wind for a wind strip.
What is that?
Well, you got to understand, if you were raised in the world I was raised in as a child, I learned that everything around me in nature was a part of me. And that even anything that we create in industry or technology, the computer is nothing but a projected image and technology of the way our basic inner brain mind functions. The brain is simply a transmitter receiver station in the mind.
Yeah, well, I've always been close to animals and shellfish and
And so we have an absolute interconnection, interdependence, and then it allows us with all forms of all other things. It's a sacred law. And there are water, wind, earth, fire, and spirit energies that exist in the fourth dimension. And therefore, they can become very, very present in our dimension. There's also those kinds of energies that exist in the fifth dimension, meaning primarily in dream time. And those dream beings can force you into a shadow dream. If you're in a shadow dream, it's like you're looking at yourself on a television set. You're not in actual presence in the dream. When you have that kind of dream, you need to train yourself to wake up, go to the bathroom, go get a drink of water.
right. Okay, can I just move on to number 5 real quick?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I was sleeping, and I woke up. My dog was kind of panting or something, and I woke up, and I sat up and walking. Well, it darted at me at first, but what was funny was my dog was sitting there looking 30 degrees away from it, staring at the wall. So it was like it was seeing it, but not in the same space I was. And as I looked at it, it came at me real quick and then slow down. And, my religious belief, I said the Hail Mary in about 10 seconds. But,
the word goes to Jewish. What are the words that go to?
yeah, but then it stopped and it sank right down to the floor.
Oh, geez.
That was definitely a shadow being, I think, from what you described. I mean, it's hard for me to say that he's here, not being in the full presence, but I know that I've studied them since I was 6 years old. My grandma taught me about them and what to do with them and how to engage with them and how to banish them. And then I learned about all the other kinds of entities and spirits that are in our world.